Well, Matt, I guess second week running, the players have had a whole week to train after a fairly, want a better word, chastening experience on Saturday, first at Stockport, last week against Farnborough. How's it been? How's it been in training this week?
Yeah, you're always looking for a response after a disappointing result, and I've never questioned the players' attitude, and we've bounced back several times over the years after disappointing days or results, and hopefully we can do the same on Saturday. Yeah, so that the attitude to training and the response shown by the lads has been really pleasing this week.
Had a week to look at any reflections on the Farnborough game, sort of in sort of with more consideration just straight after the match.
Yeah, you look at the chances. I didn't realise how good. I knew there were good chances at the time, but how many good chances we created, and especially in a cup tie like that, and it was a proper cup tie. The first goal was massive, and yeah, just really disappointed we didn't take one of those excellent chances that we had to get that first goal. And the longer the game goes on, and then the forced substitution with Kobe Rowe, and unfortunately we don't deal with the long throw in the box, and we find ourselves 1-0 down.
I mean, when seeing the highlights, don't think it made it clear just how many chances we had in the first half, and if one of those had gone in, it would probably been a different game. But no point worrying too much about that, I guess. But a big chance to sort of real redemption tomorrow, because Bradford City, one of the biggest games, probably one of the biggest occasions of the season, with the support they'll bring, and a perfect chance to bounce back.
Yeah, the biggest club in the division for me. The favourites to win the league at the start of the season, with the experienced manager that they've got, the size of the club they've got, and the players that they've got. I feel if anyone finishes above them this season, they would be winning the league. So yeah, they're certainly one of the toughest teams in the league to play against, for all those reasons I've just explained, and with the fan base and especially the away following that they'll bring, it's going to be a big crowd again tomorrow, and a good atmosphere. But like we say, we make it really difficult for teams, and they certainly won't be looking forward to coming to play us. And we just want a reaction from last Saturday, and hopefully get a good result and a good performance too.
The difference, they had an FA Cup defeat as well last Saturday. They probably weren't expecting differences. They had a midweek game where they were able to get it out of the system, and a good win away to Mansfield, which really put them in the promotion picture.
Yeah, exactly. They'll be disappointed of going out the FA Cup, and especially at home to be fancy the chances to beat Harrogate at home, and a few draws and whatever before that. So not on an unbelievable run, but they've then gone and had a good result in the week away at Mansfield, a 2-1 win, and I'm sure that'll put them in good spirits coming into our game.
And last season, right at the end of the season, it was the game against Bradford that sort of did our promotion playoff hopes a little bit, when they became the first side in 6 months to win at Sutton.
Yeah, after the Wembley Cup final, we finished the season really strongly, 5 wins out of 7, and unfortunately that was one of the 2 defeats there was against Bradford. So yeah, which ended our long unbeaten run at home as well, and a very close game on the day. 4-1, I felt flattered them, and a few late goals there sort of took the game away from us. But hopefully we can put that right and get back to winning ways at home ourselves.
Now, we've got a couple of minutes through the interview without touching on injuries, but afraid we have to now. Kobe Rowe came off against Farnborough last week, as you mentioned earlier, in the second half, and I gather the news not good from Kobe.
No, it's not. Damage to his medial ligament through that tackle he had. Unbelievable character to try and carry on for us. But it was a huge blow when he went off for us last week. He's going to be out, I believe, for about 3 months now. So he's got a brace on. He's going to have to wear for several weeks, and then they'll have to start his rehab. So it leads into another one on a long list of real unfortunate injuries. I'm not a manager, Tony. I've done this many times before. Obviously, I had chats for yourself, and I'm not a manager who's really come out. I've never spoken about budgets or started talking about overly referees' decision or slating officials in the press. All right, there might be the odd comment here and there on an official and affect the game, most recently at Stockport. But yeah, I don't like to really come out and use excuses or just speak about things I don't feel I need to speak about. But I do feel, through 12 years as an assistant manager, and it's my 4th season as a manager, I've never been involved in a squad that has suffered the injuries that we're currently going through at the moment. And again, not injuries, where we've tried to improve what we've done since we've come up as a National League club, and we're certainly trying to establish ourselves as a league club, and then build that infrastructure in behind what we do on a match day. And that includes obviously training ground, staffing and facilities in terms of quality of pitches, gyms, etc. We've really worked hard to put all of that in place to stop and try and prevent as best as possible as many injuries throughout the season. But these injuries were staying here to players who have certainly not injury prone, have certainly had good runs and played lots of minutes and lots of games in their careers. And you're looking at the neural problem that Sam Hart had and kept him out for a couple of months. We've obviously had a broken leg. We've had a cruciate injury. We've had 2 severe ankle ligament injuries to add to now Kobe's medial ligament. We've had Harry's double hernia. So Kwame's broken his hand. All these big injuries that are really affecting us, and that with I think any squad in the country really, unless you're your Man Cities. If you take your hardcore players who have played a lot of minutes for you and big players for you, and you take those out, and we've got so many of those and so many long-term ones, it's certainly going to affect what you do on the pitch, and we're just feeling that at the moment. And I've had a chat with the players this week, and it's not all like smooth running, and you're winning games week in, week out, like we have done in the last couple of years, and we're just finding ourselves in a little bit of a sticky period with results. But certainly for me, that the key factor and the main factor would certainly be the injuries we're having now. Don't get me wrong, I'm still looking to concentrate on footballing things and improve us as a team, and cut certain things out of our game and look to add certain things in. So it's not the only reason why I feel we should have a few more results, but I certainly feel it's the biggest reason. And then to add Kobe on now with a 3-month out, and the 4 main centre halves, if you like, and Matt Ridley even with his ankle injury, and he's out for a couple of months after his operation and going on that on loan. You've got young Toby playing games at Kingstonian, but the main 4 with Aaron Pierre and him working really hard to get fit and playing his first league game and coming off after minutes with a severe ankle ligament injury, and then Goody's cruciate, and now Kobe Rose medial, just leaves us with 1 centre half now, and there's not a lot we can do about it until that window opens. So it's going to be a little tough period for us, but it's just one now as a club all round that we've got to stick together and get through, and just keep the results coming, and weather this little storm and get the injured players back, and then kick on in the second half of the season.
Is there light at the end of the tunnel in terms of some of the players who are out injured, in possibility of them being back sooner rather than later?
Well, if I go through the squad quickly, obviously goalkeeping wise we're okay. We obviously all know about John Barden and the long recovery it's going to take for him to get over that horrific injury. Just explain that the centre halves there, Goody's doing remarkably well, and if he could start joining in with the team, probably we're looking at joining in with the team around probably late December in training. But then he's not going to have played for 6 months, so you have to build up his minutes and trying to either arrange training games or amongst ourselves or against opposition during the week, just to try and build his minutes up. He's not going to just suddenly be fit and fire and ready to play for us come as soon as he's ready to train. So Goody's easily going to be probably January at best if he can. I'm looking January, probably mid to late January, for him to be available for selection. Kobe Rose, we said, is now early stages, but approximate time out is 3 months. Aaron Pierre has seen a specialist again this week, and we're looking for him to return to training within 3 to 4 weeks. But again, he's hardly played any minutes, so it's not like he's going to be fit and raring to go in 3 to 4 weeks' time. He's going to have to build up his training. So he's probably another 6 to 8 weeks before he's available for selection, I would imagine. But we'll just see how fit Aaron is when he comes back. So I've mentioned Matt Ridley and how long he's going to be out for, a couple of months after his operation last week. Sam Hart's doing well now, and I was really impressed with him last week, and had a good performance, and getting stronger with his minutes. Just knew about a snipe knock, why he missed last week, so he's back and he's trained fully this week. Adam Lovett obviously is back from cup tie. You go into your two midfield players. Harry Buteman is recovering well from his hernia. Just had a little bit of a tight groin, nothing really related to the hernia or the operation. But we look to probably start him straight line running and get him back out running on the grass in about a week's time, a week of that, and then starting joining him training. So he's probably not going to be with the group for another 2 weeks. And again, he'd need another at least a week or two's training. So he's probably realistically a month away from being up for selection. Ali, I'd probably say, is a little bit soon and probably a week ahead of Harry. He'll be running after the weekend. So a week of that, couple of weeks training, he's maybe about 3 weeks away from selection. All these, being where we're at, and I'm hoping they continue to progress in that way and there's no setbacks. And forward wise, obviously we've still got Omar with 2-game suspension, and Kwame's broken his hand, but he's had a cast which he's allowed to play and fitted, and he's trained the last couple of days and is available. So yeah, if they're big injuries, they're longer term ones. We're not expecting anyone to come back overnight. But unfortunately, it is what it is at the moment. We are where we are, and we can't do a lot about it. So we've got to stick together. We've got to try and hopefully keep injury free with the rest of them, and pick the team and the squad as best we can to go and get a result on game-to-game basis.
And just one thing on Kobe, he came in sort of to cover for Ben when he was injured on the first day of the season. You have to feel sorry for him because he's done so well and has stepped up to the plate every bit as much as everybody hoped he would. And to be out for 3 months now, it's a real blow for him, and he was doing so well.
Yeah, exactly, and it's just been really tough for Kobe, a bit on and off. And as soon as he gets his little runs, he has an injury, and again, it's not like there's little ones. The grade 4 kidney tear that he had at Yeovil, and then the unbelievable tackle he did at Tranmere last year, but unfortunately affected his ankle and was out with his ankle injury. And now this as well. So 3 completely different injuries, but 3 big ones, and 3 that are totally not his fault, and is just trying to tackle and play the game and be involved in the nature of it. But he's been really unfortunate with that. But he's a good lad, Kobe, and he's done well for us, and I'm sure he'll work extremely hard to get back available for us as quick as he can.
But those that are fit, we on the pitch tomorrow, as we said earlier. Bradford probably going to be the biggest away support we've had in the ground since we joined the EFL, so should be a good noise. And it's important for the Sutton supporters to really get behind the team and be as noisy as the Bradford supporters obviously will be, and make a really great atmosphere there tomorrow.
Exactly, and like I say, the results haven't been what they have been the last couple of seasons, but we just need everyone that's the supporters as well to stick together and really create that good atmosphere and make it a really tough place to come, which it is at Gander Green Lane, and the supporters play a huge part in that as well. So we hope they turn up in their numbers and bring their voices as well, and cheer us on and get right behind us to counteract that loud away support that I'm sure Bradford will have, and make it a real competitive game for us, and one we look to try and get the advantage in.
And to keep things in perspective, it wouldn't take much of a turnaround for us suddenly to get a couple of decent results and be just knocking on the playoff position again. It's all fairly tight in the middle of the table.
It is. Anyone can beat anybody. It is all very tight. There are thin dividing lines in games, but just as much as when we were winning the National League or flying last season, that we never looked too far ahead. We never started really overly concentrating on league tables or thinking that we've got coming up later on in the month. It's the here and now. It is the next game, and all we can do is just prepare and get ourselves ready and do the focus on the next game to try and get that result. And then whatever happens, we dust ourselves down, we see where we're at, we work hard in training, and we look to plan and prepare ready for the next one.
And I think I know what your answer to this is going to be, but tonight we've got the Papa John's Trophy draw, and we know we're away. We know it's to one of 4 teams. Presumably you're not too concerned about which one we get. Any preferences?
Not really, Tony. No, it's again out of my control. I believe that we know the 4 teams that we can get in the draw. So
played them all fairly recently.
Yeah. So it's not going to be too many surprises there. But as I say, Tony, I'm not really concentrating on the Papa John's this year. I'll be worrying about that when it comes around later on in the month. See who we get tonight. Park that and get back onto concentrating about Bradford, and I'm worried about the Papa John's and obviously as we know, wanting to progress and get through. Of course we do, and we're doing everything we can. But when that time comes around,
brilliant. Well, we wish you well tomorrow, Matt, and the lads, and we'll all be there at Sutton tomorrow. And we wish you well, and thanks for joining us. And we'll catch up with you after the game.
brilliant. Cheers, Danny. Thanks a lot.